when she looked, he actually took a step towards us and dissipated. They shot him, he fell to the ground, they actually put the muzzle of the gun in his mouth, blew off his head right in front of her. So he proceeds to tell him that it's actually a demon that nestles in and starts asking for things. Blanche runs up the stairs past him to the other kitchen, grabs the kitchen knife, slashes him to death. She doesn't stab him, she like slices him.
Oh, that's crazy.
Right.
This was a dark shadow that walked across that doorway. And it was a tall thing too.
Not your names, but after something was said, things happened.
No! Oh, they said it to the spirit box.
I'm gonna cry.
I know.
This floor is horrible. I smoke, but I can walk up to the asylum 4 floors and not feel heavy like I do when I walk up here. Like it takes your breath away. So we deem that as paranormal because it happens to people who run track and stuff because we don't know why. A lot of the women did die of pneumonia and stuff like that, so that could be why. The longer I'm here, it gets worse. So right now you are standing in the oldest structure. It was built in 1847. It was a school for boys from the ages of 15 to 18. When they were here, they would actually graduate with a higher education, meaning they were like lawyers, teachers, things like that, that they didn't have to go on to college for. They just learned that all here. Then in 1859, the Women's Relief Corps purchased the building and made it a home for women who were misplaced during the Civil War. Our most famous being a woman named Elizabeth Stiles. Are you guys local?
No, not really.
Do you know where Asheville is? Did you guys pass that coming in?
Yeah.
She was born and raised there, so it's about 30 minutes from here. And age 5, her dad taught her how to shoot a gun. She was 15 and 16. She actually knew how to do seamstress skills and nursing skills from her mother. Then in 1862, her and her husband moved down to the Kansas-Missouri border. Back then, you were either Confederate or you were Union. She was a big supporter of the Union. Every day as a school teacher, she'd go out and raise the Union flag. Confederates actually saw her do that one day, and they told her she did it again, they were going to kill her. She was a toughie, so the very next day, she went out and raised that flag again. They saw her do it, they followed her to her home, found out where she lived, and then they went and found Union soldiers, killed them, took their uniforms, went back to her house at nightfall, knocked on the door, her and her husband answered the door, and they asked her, "What are your politics?" Seeing the Union soldiers standing before her, they both answered, "Union." They shot him, he fell to the ground, they actually put the muzzle of the gun in his mouth, blew off his head right in front of her. She turned around to run out the back door, they raised the gun to shoot her. The leader says, put his hand out and stopped her and said, don't shoot her, she's too pretty to shoot. From there, she decides to avenge her husband's death. So she becomes an Army nurse for the Union. While she's doing this, she's actually getting information from the Confederates as they come in injured. Abraham Lincoln himself actually finds out about this and then sends her a letter asking her to become a Union spy. Right away, she agrees. Her and her adopted daughter, Clara, posed as a grandmother and a granddaughter traveling the United States looking for her Confederate father who was injured. They traveled to 17 different states together. During that time, they actually got caught. They convinced them that they were working for the Confederates. They sent them back with a brand new horse, ammunition, all that stuff. The reason she's so important to us is she actually lived the last 4 years of her life here. She died here and she's buried at the cemetery that's right up the road. Paranormal. This floor has been reported multiple times of a 7-foot tall shadow man who actually walks the hallways. I actually saw him in the room right next to you.
That's right.
Yeah, I was sitting on the floor over here and me and another girl were investigating and I kept seeing something in front of the armoire that's in there and I could tell it was like way taller though. I'm like, what is that? And right when she looked, he actually took a step towards us and dissipated.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
It was really cool.
Oh wait, no, we did go in here.
Okay.
Oh.
Seriously? Okay. So this is over 174 years now of history just compiled into one. It's been many different things. I said it was the Women's Relief Corps place. It was the school. It was always been a place for the elderly. After that, the Ohio Cottage side opened in 1904, and it became a place for sailors, their wives, their widows, stuff like that. Anybody who was misplaced could be put over there. Women who had dementia, Alzheimer's. We also had criminally insane, mentally insane, physically handicapped, and mentally handicapped in the asylum. In 1956, though, we had a program brought in called Opportunity Village that brought in women prisoners from Marysville Prison that is still open today. It's down in southern Ohio. we had like 13 women they'd be housed down here. Our most famous being a woman named Blanche Jacobs. In 1952, she got caught doing check fraud. Basically just a slap on the wrist and let go. 4 years later, she ends up in Columbus, Ohio. Her and her husband live next door to their not their grandparents, their landlords, Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, who are age 73 and 74 at the time. She becomes very good friends with them. She starts writing bad checks on their account. They find out, they call her, or Mrs. Robinson actually called on the phone and said, we're going to have to press charges because she'd already done over $1,400 worth of charges.
Oh.
Back then.
That's a lot of money.
So she gets aggravated. She goes next door. She confronts them. They had a split level home. There was a kitchen upstairs and a kitchen downstairs. Mrs. Robinson was in the downstairs kitchen actually baking pies. Blanche comes in, something happens, it gets heated. Blanche picks up a rolling pin, hits her over the head, knocks her out, she falls to the floor. The husband hears the commotion, starts coming down the stairs. Blanche runs up the stairs past him to the other kitchen, grabs the kitchen knife, slashes him to death. She doesn't stab him, she like slices him.
Oh, this is crazy.
Right, and then she runs back downstairs, and Mrs. Robinson actually woke up and was getting to the garage. It was almost out of the house. She chased her down, dragged her back, then did the same thing, sliced her to death. Then she takes both of their bodies, puts them in the bathtub, cleans up the whole house, goes back home, tells her husband and 2 children they went on vacation.
Yeah.
She keeps up the charade for 3 days. Finally, she can't take it anymore. She actually tells her husband doesn't believe her, so she actually has to physically take him to the bodies and show him.
Oh my God.
So from there, she actually tries to claim insanity. They sent her to an insane asylum in Lima, Ohio to test her. She was not. They said she just wasn't right in the head, but she was not insane.
Yeah.
She knew what she was doing, and she tried to starve herself, everything. So she ended up not getting prosecuted until the following year. And she got charged with double homicide, and she was supposed to spend 2 life sentences in Marysville. She ended up here in 4 months as an honor inmate working with the elderly. We found out that this was always military rank people here. Her husband was very high in the military, so we think he had some kind of pull with getting her here. And she actually became a caretaker to the superintendent's children. And we actually got to meet those 2 children. They're now in their like 60s or 70s. They came out last summer and told us all about Blanche.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and walked us through the building and told us all kinds of stuff. They said she was a great woman. She even went to their wedding and all this other stuff, so I guess everybody has a bad day once in a while.
I guess it's all cool now.
Yeah, we do get a woman down here from time to time. I don't think it's Blanche though, because she did get paroled. Like I said, she went to their weddings when they grew up and stuff, so she actually did get out of here. So I don't know why she would be here if it was her. We never got a name for the woman.
Right.
There's also a man down here that you two might want to be a little bit cautious of tonight because he does really like women.
Okay.
He's been known to touch women's butt, play with their hair, stuff like that. We've actually done studies where we put women in one room and men in another. And
It's
women always get
always
more
yeah.
activity than the men.
Are you gonna come on? You're on.
Do you want it?
Sorry. Yes.
Sorry.
You're fine. So this area here is known, well, the site is the Ohio Cottage. It started fully functioning in 1904, but it was started building in 1859, or 1898. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said 59.
That's okay.
This area would have been the dining area. For those able bodies that were able to come down to go to the other people would have been in a wheelchair or possibly bedbound, they wouldn't be able to come down. So we have the dumbwaiter over here that goes all the way up to the 4th floor asylum. That bathroom there is the only working bathroom that you guys have for this evening. We have a friendly spirit down here that we nicknamed Grandpa. We've actually got Evps that he does like that nickname, so we keep it. He kind of likes to mess with people when they're in the bathroom. I know that sounds creepy, but he doesn't actually come in. It's more like out here you might hear a whistle, or you might hear somebody on like that thing, or you might hear it sounds like a pebble being thrown almost. It's like a noise that people report. Some people even call him a whistler because it's usually whistling is what you hear. But one night, 2 winters ago, it was super cold. It was so cold in here that there was ice on the walls.
Oh,
We don't have heat.
Yeah.
So usually when I come down here, I say, Grandpa, I'm going to the bathroom, leave me alone. I go to the bathroom. I didn't say that because I was trying to hurry up. These bathrooms, I was actually using this one over here, and they're on a slow close. So when you open them and go in, they take a while to close, and they don't really slam. That's all you hear.
Yeah.
When I got into the stall, I actually heard it go.
Oh,
wow. And I'm like,
no,
okay,
no.
Grandpa, just let me use the bathroom, okay?
We're not doing that.
So this happened actually because of ghost hunters. They were out last summer, and we always had an urban legend about a lady who went missing, supposedly at the turn of the century, that she was buried in our floor. So we told them that story. They wanted to investigate it, so they brought in 2 cadaver dogs. The first one came through, went through the building, found nothing until right about here, about this area here, and then did a little pat and tell that something was here.
Okay.
So then they brought in the second one. All through the building again, nothing, until right next to where the first dog sat, did another pat and tell that something was here. So they're like, can we bring in ground penetrating radar? And we're like, go ahead.
What else?
It was almost $3,000 an hour to rent one, so we were like, okay.
Yeah.
So they did the whole basement area, found nothing, except for here, about 2.5 foot down, they found an anomaly, about the size of a football.
Okay.
So then the next question naturally was, can we dig? They dug 2.5 foot down, nothing. The people who were here even said that the excavators look confused, that usually if something's on there, you usually find something.
Yeah.
So they dug down almost 3 foot, found nothing. Then they brought in our local police department's K9 unit. They went through, when he went through, he actually did the whole Civil War side, came to the dining room, wouldn't go any farther, kept pulling down here.
Yeah.
So they just let him go. He comes running, he ran and jumped onto the pile of dirt that was here,
Oh.
saying something was here. So, dog sends back 30 years, which rules out the turn of the century. But 30 years ago, the building was actually empty. And people would break in, other people who were here before, like the commissioners, all those maintenance people, all still had keys.
Okay.
So it could be anybody could have
Yeah.
been in here. And somebody could have died here and then been moved. They would have been buried in the ground, could have dug her up and moved her when we found out it sold.
Right.
Your flashlight
Or-
died.
What?
It died.
It's a brand new.
It died.
You try it again in a minute, it'll probably work. Or maybe
Oh,
we
there
dug
it
in
is.
the wrong spot.
There it is.
Okay.
Wait, no. Excuse me.
It's like
There
I
you go.
touch it and it dies. Okay, we're good.
Or maybe we just dug in the wrong spot. So that's one of the reasons why we left it open,
Okay.
is so that we can check later, maybe.
So they didn't
They
find anything.
didn't find anything. We
But-
did keep the dirt, because we want to sift
Yeah.
through it to make sure we didn't miss
But the
anything.
dogs were very concerned about this area.
They were, yes.
Okay.
So this is the laundry wing. Back in the day when it was operational, it was very active for people, like a lot of laundry being done, because we had the elderly, we had the mentally insane, all those people here. So we do get a lot of residual. This wall is not original to the building. If you look in there, you can actually see the old brick.
Okay.
So it used to be all open. We do hear reports of a man that walks through that wall. Could be just that, if you know what residual is, that's just a loop in time. So they don't actually see what's going on around them, they probably just see their time. But we do have a television out here too. We actually have 3 K2s on these stairs here. We have one on the first stair, one on the second stair, one on the third. Yes, no, maybe or unknown.
Okay.
And they were answering questions left and right, so then we're like, okay, turn on stair number 2, turned it on, 3, turned it on, and then we're like, okay, turn them all on, and they all went up all the way to red. Whatever,
Wow.
the flashlights do not want to work today.
I'll swap you.
Okay.
See, this one's really hot.
Yeah, it's like
And I
burning in my
just reached out
hand.
and turned it on.
I don't know what's going on.
I'll try to stop breaking flashlights.
No, it's cold. It's a brand new battery. Like those are rechargeable ones, so I don't.
I've
know
never
where
felt the
it's
flashlight get that hot.
So this area is what we call the second floor. This side is the caretakers or the superintendent's wing. They actually live there with their wives and children. Like the 2 that came out.
Okay, yeah.
That would have been Delbert Nixon, his wife, and then the 2 children were Judy and Mark, and they're the ones that came out and toured the building with us. This would have been 24-hour care patients and also like doctors and nurses that had to stay overnight to help with elderly.
Okay.
That room there was a sitting room, like a family sitting room when people would come to visit. This was actually the superintendent's office. These are not the original, that's not the original staircase. These are actually the original staircases. There was like a Y staircase that were wooden that went this way.
Okay.
That used to be all the way open to the asylum, or to there's a bell tower that actually got struck by lightning that no longer is there either. So that's where Dakota Layton slept. This is Sarah's room. When the music box was going off on the show. It was dark there. Oh, my flashlight would want to work. If you put flashlights on her eyes and then let it go at night, they light up.
Oh my gosh.
So this is Sarah's room. Many different things with this room. We're not exactly sure what's going on with this room. Adam, the owner, used to investigate before he bought the building, and he came here in 2011. He still does investigate. He's resident undead. But when he came here in 2011, both of these doors were shut, and there was just a sticky note on this door that said Sarah's room. They walked in, on the floor was a bunch of children's toys, so they just started talking to Sarah like she was a child. So there's a theory that you can create your own haunting by putting that energy out there. People were doing that before he came, and we continue to do it now as for Sarah, a child. So there is a theory that you can create it by putting that energy out there. That's one of the theories. Another theory is, we were told Sarah was the 8-year-old girl that was dropped off here. She didn't die here, she grew up and had her own life. People say children will, or people when they die will sometimes show themselves as the happiest. So we do get a woman spirit here that says she's Sarah, but we also get a child that says she's Sarah. Or Sarah was a very popular name, so could have been 2 different entities. Or say Chelsea's dead and she's across the hallway and she wants to talk. We're always asking for Sarah. She may step in and say, I'm Sarah. Darker theory, when Ghost Hunters was here, they actually did not talk about Sarah's room at all, and it is one of the most active rooms in the building. Grant Wilson actually took Adam out to the back porch and asked him if he ever heard of what was called a slow burn. And Adam's like, no, I've never heard of that before. So he proceeds to tell him that it's actually a demon that nestles in and starts asking for things. And as you give it things, you are actually just feeding the energy. If you look at the money over there, Adam purchased the building in 2016. He had a public hunt, 2 weeks after he bought it. First night in, they were doing a live Evp session, and they asked, Sarah, what do you need? They got one word, money. That night, a woman asked, can I leave money for Sarah? Monkey see, monkey do. Everybody starts doing it. Plus, they keep bringing all these toys.
all the toys,
There's actually a toy room below us that's directly below this room that has more toys in it. Those are all Sarah's. So, that's just a thought. Something weird that happened, though, that makes us believe more now that Sarah may not be what she cracks up to be. Right after all the things with COVID and we closed down, we came back, and the first tour I gave like this, I was telling the theories, and then as I was getting ready to walk out, one of the team members asked me, what do you think? And I said, well, I don't believe she's a child. And just as I said that, back of my neck started burning.
Oh, yeah.
And she was with me, and I looked at her, I said, Chelsea, you're going to have to check my neck. And I had a hoodie on, it was still cooler out, it wasn't that warm out yet. And we had 2 more stops before we go to the asylum. By the time I got to the asylum, my knees were weak, I was shaking, I felt nauseous, I felt like I was going to pass out. I kept looking at her like, you're going to have to take over this tour. Finally, we get outside, she checks my neck, she said, it looks like I had sunburn. 10 minutes later, it was gone, and I was totally fine.
Oh my gosh.
And then one of the other volunteers actually said, oh, so your neck was slowly burning.
Like a slow burn. Oh my gosh. Crazy.
I didn't think about that at all, so I talked to that other volunteer a couple months later, and she's like, that's really weird.
They said a slow burn.
So this is the asylum. This would have been the recreation area. I use recreation very loosely. A lot of them would have been wheelchairs, bedbound, stuff like that. As far as paranormal goes, pretty much everything you think of. We have shadow figures, we have disembodied voices, footsteps, people being touched, scratched, bit, throat punch, hiss at, growl at, crawlers, light anomalies, poltergeist activity. That doll that was usually sitting on the edge of the chair. Is that even a wheelchair? This is not even a wheelchair. But she usually sits like this, and on that camera up there, we're actually live on Paranormal Warehouse.
Oh, cool.
And she went flying off the chair.
Ooh.
She sat there for 9 days, never moved. She continues to usually just sit here. I don't know why she was sitting where she was sitting. But if you watch, it takes a lot of force. So we deemed it paranormal. She has a very flat bottom, and she's heavy because she's got one of the berry pads.
Okay.
So she actually has a video of it if you guys want to see it.
It's like halfway through. It's like 10 seconds in. Wow.
And nobody was here at about 11 o'clock in the afternoon or in the morning. And she just sits there, and I mean, it doesn't matter where you put her. It really doesn't.
Yeah, like it really has to
Right,
move.
and you don't see that chair move at all.
That is
You
crazy.
actually see her head start to go first if you blow it.
Yeah, if you like blow it out and you look.
Yeah, her head actually goes a little bit first, and then
Like she was like pushed from the back and not just like
Right.
slid off.
Yeah.
These are all patient rooms except this prefers to be called a surgeon. He's kind of an arrogant guy. Women tend to not like him very much because he kind of talks down to them. Consider the haunting though. He would have been from a time when women didn't have a lot of rights, and here are women all of a sudden coming into his office, demanding answers to their questions. So I think you just have to consider where you're at and what's going on. Okay, this is the mind work room. Be careful of your emotions in this room. That's what she's known to do, is to take control of your emotions. I actually had to be removed from this room after sobbing and then getting very super angry. So it could be anything from feeling nauseous to off balance, sad, angry. Just know your own self, or be with, stay together when you go in that room so they'll know. And usually time you walk out to the stairwell, they're usually gone. Yeah. You can find it? Oh. This is John's room. He's very timid. We find that if you kind of knock on his door and say, "Hey John, I'm going to come in and talk to you," you get a lot more activity than if you just
walk right in.
Remember that.
You didn't see it in there.
I didn't see it in there. I just noticed when it's gone.
Yeah.
This room is actually been talked about as the evil man's room or the throat punch room.
What?
Excuse me?
Wait, what?
I don't call it that. Again, consider your haunting. You're in an asylum.
Yeah.
This is probably somebody who is either mentally handicapped, physically handicapped, who was probably made fun of his whole life. So when you come in being a jerk to him, he's going to be there.
Yeah.
Most of the time when somebody gets scratched, bit, hit, hiss that, growl that up here, it's usually in this room, and they were usually provoking.
Okay.
Down here, we have the two doors that are open. We call those the peeper's room, or some people call them the twins. We see what looks like almost childlike size figures that peep out, and they usually do it in unison, so that's why they call them the twins.
Oh, that's a big
When we investigate a lot, we usually do like right here, because you can see all the hot areas at once. It's a good area if you're going to do cameras. This is another good place to...
I'm so goddamn confused. Like, it's irritating how fucking confused I am.
How about you enlighten us on what's been happening?
I'm very confused. I'm confused about everything. Our flashlights aren't working. While we were on the tour, they were being fucking retarded. I probably shouldn't say retarded or fucking. So our flashlights were being very stupid. My camera wasn't working. Like, it said the SD card wasn't right. There was a card error. So I had to walk all the way back downstairs, get the SD card out of my drone, and put it in the GoPro. I forgot my camera at home.
Well, we might have had stuff happen upstairs, but we had to come and get everything again.
Yeah, we were putting stuff up and you asked me what
I'm not saying the name.
I thought about a specific person, and there was a noise and...
An entity that supposedly haunts... Oh, I almost fell backwards.
Ooh, girl.
I just got so dizzy.
We were just talking about how crazy and disoriented we feel and how we feel like we're being watched, and I don't normally feel that way like whenever we first go to a location, but I just feel so uneasy here, and I haven't felt like that before in really many other places at all.
Nice. I just have a overall bad feeling.
I know.
What do you think of Sarah? Oh, hell.
What was that?
Oh my god, it was in my right ear. Oh no.
Okay, let's try this again. So this is where we were at. So since he's... Alright, let's sit. Oh wait, I'm sitting on where the stairs were.
Is that where the stairs were?
Yeah, remember they said
we have a different floor.
it was like no, she said stairs went all the way up.
Oh, I can't be in front of my doorway. Sorry, not sorry.
Okay, that's recording, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh my god, see the level of confusion.
We're a mess.
We're never this fucking
I've never seen that. I don't like it here. It's recording.
Oh god.
I don't like it here. I don't know what it is, but like I do not like it.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get our spirit box.
in SB7 mode.
Is there anybody here? Anybody that wants to talk to us? I fucking talk. Come on, Amber. Sorry. What's your name? Do you want to come chat? My name's Amber. What's your name? Who's gonna want to talk to us tonight? Girl. Where should we go? I feel better now that the spirit box is on. Like it made me calmer.
I don't know. I feel a little better, but not really. Why does that last the same when you get a little here?
blasting it.
I think something didn't want us up here when we wanted to go up there.
Yeah.
I'm not naming names.
No, but it totally successfully got us to go away. Like,
I'm not naming names, but after something was said, things happened.
no! It totally fed into the spirit box.
I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry, don't cry.
No.
Girl. No. That was Michelle not be named. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Hi.
Hi.
We can hear you. Do you want to tell us your name? Ew.
That was like George. I don't like it here.
Oh, girl.
Are you okay?
I think it was my dad.
I'm gonna say twice now. Twice. No. I'm saying. I'm not saying this where we could probably go after this.
Do you know what's so funny?
I don't want to be there. Like,
You don't want to go in that room?
I don't want to go in that room. I'm 100%. I will, but I don't want to.
Why?
I do not like that room, and twice now, I do not want to go in there. Like, I'm not being an asshole either. Like, I do not.
I'm literally going to watch my kids in the car and make my boyfriend go sit in them.
Like, I don't go in that room. Like, I am so like.
We have to go in that room.
Like twice now. Twice.
The funny part, okay, so like, we watch Ghost Adventures and we make fun of Zach Baggins all the time because he goes, I'm all charged up. And I literally almost just said that. Like, like a couple minutes ago, yeah. Because like when I got here, I was tired, but just experiencing like what we have so far, I'm like so full of energy.
I'm full of energy and like hell no.
And like, eat.
Oh my god. And I don't like that name too, and now I will always hate that name.
Oh, don't hate that name. Like,
No.
I need to check battery life on that, and I gotta make sure that they're GoPro.
Is he actually coming though?
I think so, yeah, because he sent me a picture and he said, is this what you need?
He's a real one.
Real one. Stunning. I have to check the battery, but honestly, I don't want to get up and walk over that.
No, I don't need it.
I've never, you got it.
No.
Like, make sure the thing's blinking on the GoPro.
Where do you put it? Oh, look at it. Yeah, it's blinking.
Okay, blinking? Alright, cool. And then I just need to know that the battery's good on that.
It's yellow with one bar.
Okay, that's what it was when I was over there earlier. We're gonna let that bitch die. We're doing that.
Okay.
I think we need to find a spot for this, and we need to go set it down, and then we need to like go outside and come up with a plan.
It was the same voice twice. I don't like it. Oh my god.
Because I feel like it wants us to be disoriented, and it wants.
I am thinking, I hope you know.
Oh my god.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just saw a shot of that.
No.
Okay. This is the first time that I've legit like.
You're seeing shit in your face. You realize this only happens to me. And so like, I have like always panic, and now it's happening to you, so I
I've never been body just like is telling me to like.
Like my body is like run.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
No, I'm like full like just calendar right now.
Yeah. And like I'm fighting it so bad because all I want to do right now
Is run.
I want to grab everything and run. Yeah.
Like I literally run. But I think it's
Yeah. But I've never like felt that way anywhere else.
now it's no like extreme that
Was the always, yeah.
and like that room. As soon as I walked in, I knew. I was like, no,
That's yeah.
and then I said it. Then another.
So it's gonna be a really active night. I can already tell. There's that voice again.
I know. It's the same as you know. It's not what it says.
I haven't. I want to leave, but I want to stay and see what it says. Because I want to put that in her room.
Sure.
Oh my god. I'm gonna cry. Oh my god.
You're having the trailer of just us and we're gonna cry the entire time. Oh my god, I don't like
I have legitly. I have never. Ever.
this. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
No. Oh my god.
Okay. I think we need to really regroup and do whatever we need to do to stop being confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say we're confused anymore. I think we're just going, what the hell are you
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. We're going to your room. Is that okay?
Say the name.
We're going to your room, Sarah. Is that where you want us to go? Cool. Alright.
I think we should all go to sleep up and make the spirit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, that's so weird. I don't know. That story about the bull is crazy with the dogs.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought, yeah.
It's flickering. I just really can't wait to see it.
We're just pointing. Don't worry.
Are you doing that? It's so good.
So we're in the room with the hole. Where they. Where we could have a possible body in here.
May or may not be human remains that got taken in them.
Does anybody know if there's human remains in here? Why am I'm holding it like this?
I was asking, I was like thinking that, but like.
I was like, why am I holding it like I'm waving a flag?
There's also 2 mirrors.
Yeah.
3 mirrors.
No, yeah, there's.
Yikes. That's a cute one.
Sarah, do you want more toys? Or more money? Sarah, how old are you? Does anybody want to tell me what Sarah is? I don't know, do they?
No.
Does anybody know? Is Sarah your friend? Is she nice to play with?